Hey guys, welcome to SmackDown Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boise, and this is SmackDown Live Review. We have a huge and changes going on for WrestleMania. Big opportunity for Kofi Kingston. We have a huge title change, and we have a massive stipulation added to a WrestleMania match. This and so much more, guys. Let's get straight on with it. This is Smack Talk's SmackDown Live Review. Hit the music. So we kicked off the show with the New Day, and they were not happy, obviously, with what had happened last week with Kofi Kingston's Gauntlet match, where Bryan came out, defeated him, making sure that Kofi wouldn't be going to WrestleMania challenging for the WWE title. Throughout that, we had some online Twitter videos from Big E kind of indicating that they think it's now time for them to leave the company. They kind of echoed those feelings again. The best thing about it though, Kofi Kingston didn't come out, he didn't whinge. They actually came out, they were throwing pancakes to everyone, but they did talk about it, and it was a serious promo, and this is showing exactly why Big E and Xavier Woods are really maturing as superstars, because their mic skills are just so much better, and this storyline is so good for these two as well. They need explanations before they do anything else, and they actually call out Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon does come out, and he does, before he can say anything, he's interrupted by none other than Bryan, the WWE champion. Mr. McMahon is getting everything shouted at him by Bryan. Xavier Woods even states to Daniel, the only reason you're so worried is because you know Kofi's going to beat you. What happened to you, Daniel? You used to be just like us. People used to say you weren't good enough, and now look at you. You're telling everyone else they're not good enough. You're just a hypocrite. And I thought that was great. I thought that was a really good promo from Xavier Woods. Mr. McMahon gives Kofi a one last opportunity, sort of. This means that Big E and Xavier Woods will be competing in a gauntlet match, a tag team gauntlet match this time around. And if they win, Kofi will get his WWE title match at WrestleMania. Big news. I really like this. This was great showing from Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Big E, Xavier Woods, and Vince McMahon, all really pulling out all the stops here. I know a few people were disappointed they could have gone a much darker route, but the gauntlet match, again, I can understand. We've seen it twice now in 2 weeks, but it's a bit different. It's not Kofi taking part in it, it's Big E and Xavier, and I think this is the whole friendship kind of level for me. So for me, I don't mind this. I think, you know, it's that build-up. Could Xavier and Big E be able to do it in the end? And Mr. McMahon never stipulated how many teams will be taking part in this gauntlet match as well, so there was that unknown factor as well. So for me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Brilliant start to the show. Next up, we had Charlotte versus Asuka. Now, this was interesting. We started off with Becky Lynch backstage doing a quick promo. She was interviewed. She stated that she's bringing the crowd, Ronda's bringing the title, but what is Charlotte Flair bringing to the game? Why is she in this WrestleMania match? Before she could finish off her promo, she was interrupted by Charlotte's music. Charlotte comes out, she goes a quick promo saying, I'm going to show you what I'm bringing to WrestleMania. Then Asuka comes out. It seems like we're just going to have a singles match between Asuka and Charlotte. Before we were all shocked, I mean everyone, even commentating teams sound very shocked in this one. When it was announced it was for the SmackDown Women's title. Again, how did Charlotte get an opportunity? No one understood how this was made, but it was definitely, by everyone's account, it was Charlotte who made sure this match did happen. I have got to say, this was a really good match. I know social media has melted down saying this is the destruction of Asuka, destroying the SmackDown Women's division in all, because there was meant to be a lot of matches on SmackDown this week, which were advertised. Apparently we were meant to have Mandy Rose versus Naomi and Carmella versus Sonya Deville. The winners of these matches would indicate who would go and challenge Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title, but it looks like that was all scrapped after this. But I know social media wasn't happy, but if you had seen the match, instead of just seeing the result, the match was really good. I know I wasn't particularly too happy with the final result, but the match itself was really good, and it was hell of a lot better than what we got for their WrestleMania match last year. So for me, it was really good. For a TV match, it was fantastic, because you were seeing moves which you never see Asuka and Charlotte Flair just pull out, and they were pulling out moves you don't see, and the crowd was so behind Asuka. The minute it was announced it was for the SmackDown Women's title, everyone wanted Asuka to survive and get this title to WrestleMania. But no, it was a hard-hitting match, really enjoyable from both women. Charlotte did win. She put the figure 8 on, a very destructive figure 8. It was a lot more tuck into Asuka's leg, and you just saw it, and Asuka's leg bent differently in this one, and Asuka tapped out, and Charlotte is now the new SmackDown Women's Champion. So she's taking that championship with her to WrestleMania in that triple threat match. I'm going to give my thoughts on the match itself, and then what I think. The match was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic match. Really enjoyed it. Better than their WrestleMania match. So for that, it is going to get a 3 out of 5 stars. Now, don't hate me for saying that, because it was a good match. Now, I understand why people are upset. I'm upset because I think it just, again, it's kind of disrespected Asuka's reign. It's kind of like, well, what's the point of having Asuka hold the title? But there was no build up for the SmackDown Women's title. It's really not had anything since Charlotte and Becky have been focusing on the Raw Women's title. So we'll have to wait and see. For me, this was an interesting choice. I don't know if it was the right choice, but it will be interesting to see. So yeah, I'm going 3 out of 5 stars. Good match, just I don't think it was the right result. Next up, we had the match which was probably the biggest build match of the week, and this was Kurt Angle's final match on SmackDown Live versus AJ Styles. Now again, just like Samoa Joe on Raw, this was two guys who were very well known for Kurt Angle's rivalry in TNA, and I was excited to see this match. I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good match, because AJ is a great opponent. He can bring out the best in Kurt Angle, and you know, no matter how limited Kurt is in the ring, AJ will be able to pull out a fantastic match. And that was the worst part. It never got started. The match never got started, and it's because of the AJ Randy Orton feud. Randy Orton came in way too early, in my opinion. RKO'd AJ Styles, ending the match. Both men did manage to put on their submission moves, which was cool to see. The calf crusher and the ankle lock, which again, two really iconic submission moves now being used against each other. But yeah, Randy came in too early, in my opinion. RKO'd AJ. Angle slam, picked up to AJ, and that was about it. Really bit of a shame, really, because a really good amount of build up, really that, you know, because let's be honest, Kurt Angle really helped build SmackDown when it first started, when it was its own brand all those years ago. Kurt Angle was the guy you go, oh, Kurt Angle, top guy, he's one of the SmackDown 6, and yeah, kind of disappointing that it's his last match on SmackDown Live. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I can understand they probably had a time restraint and they had to cut down some of it. And I think maybe for the best that Kurt didn't have a longer match. He had quite a long match on Raw the night before, and it kind of showed he wasn't at his best anymore. Next up, we had Shane O'Mac and the Miz exchange some major words. Yeah, this was a really good promo from both men. It started off with the Miz coming out, and he wanted to add a stipulation to his WrestleMania match. He wants to get his hands on Shane O'Mac, but he doesn't want Shane to be able to run away anywhere. And so he wants the stipulation of Falls Count Anywhere, which, let's be honest, this definitely means Shane O'Mac is going to jump off something very tall, and it's going to be probably really awesome. So yes, I like this. I like the stipulation. Really cool. Shane comes out, but he comes out with security and some WWE superstars who aren't being used at all. We had Shelton Benjamin, we had one of the Colognes, and we had Sanity. Sanity's been on TV. Oh my god, we had Sanity on TV. I was going to write a missing people's report, but apparently they're still on SmackDown, so that's always a good sign. Shane just absolutely gets called the best in the world, and it's just like, it's like, this is brilliant. I love Shane O'Mac when he's in heel form, and this is really a really good Shane O'Mac. They exchange some really more bitter words towards each other. He says, Mr. Miz made the biggest mistake by impregnating your mum. And that was it. It was straw which broke the camel's back. The Miz goes out, he beats up the security, beats up about 10, 12 men. Beats up the security, beats up Shelton Benjamin, Sanity, the Cologne, and he's beating the crap out of them everywhere. And I thought, this is really good. This is really showing the Miz as a good little baby face here. He's still got that arrogance as a heel, which he still carries with him, but the crowd are so behind the Miz. I like the stipulation, I like the beatdown on all these superstars. Yes, it's a shame that Sanity and all these guys got used in this way, but let's be honest, it's building up a great feud between Shane O'Mac and the Miz, so end of the day, they're not being used. They finally got some TV time, which is fine with me. So yes, and if they somehow become Shane's security, do it. Make Shane a new corporate, you know, a corporate Shane team where Sanity and all that will join him. That's fine, I'll take that. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. This moved us on to the main event of the night, the tag team gauntlet match. If Xavier Woods and Big E are able to beat these tag teams, Kofi Kingston will be going to WrestleMania to challenge for the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. Now, you could feel the tension coming from the crowd, and that's one really good. First opponents for them were none other than Karl and Luke Gallows. Again, really good to see them on TV. A very short match for them, very, very short match, but at least they got a match. Big E and Xavier Woods straight out of the gate, up, down, down on Karl Anderson, taking Luke Gallows out of the picture straight away as well. They got a quick victory. Next up was none other than Shinsuke, Nakamura and Rusev. Now this match went on a lot longer. Both Rusev and Shinsuke working Xavier Woods, trying to break him down, keep him away from Big E. So every match started pretty much with Xavier Woods, apart from one where it was Big E who did start. But this was a really good hard-hitting match. It was like, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get? But no, they managed to survive another up, down, down, getting them knocked out. So who was after that? None other. You could see the desperation at this point. The crowd got even more tense when this team came out. None other than the Bar. Now, you talk about rivalries over years. For tag teams, you have the Hardys, the Dudleys, and E&C. For me, it's always going to be now the Usos, the New Day, and the Bar. These are the three teams who have just replicated that rivalry of tag teams. And the Bar just hard hitting. This is the only time Big E started the match first. And the Bar just work his legs. It's constantly, that's all they're working. It's Big E's legs, making sure Xavier Woods is taken out as well. Xavier was shattered by this point. You could tell a lot of their moves were a lot less effective, really. And the Bar really tried everything. Xavier Woods did manage to tag in. It was a hot tag, which was great. The crowd just went mental when Xavier Woods went in. He managed to pin Sheamus. Sheamus and Cesaro lost it. They brought in a table, put Big E through the table. And who was that? Who was next? None other than our SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. It looks like the Usos were about to beat the crap out of Big E and Xavier Woods. You can see there's Xavier just making sure Big E is okay because he went through the table. The Usos get the mics. They talk about how the Usos and the New Day went to war so many times and that they have earned their respect. They've earned the respect for the people in the back, the people in the crowd. And there's no other person they want to see take on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania than Kofi Kingston. And then just turn around and go, ref, we forfeit. And that way I thought, yeah, you know what? Giving the Usos their props, that's a great way for that, you know, one of the teams to go, you know what, I respect Kofi too much, I just don't want to do this. And it was nice it was the Usos who have had a good reputation of, you know, they are babyface, they're a face team, but they're not baby. I think they're in the grave spots, but they do respect teams. They respect teams, and last but not least, it was the final team, and who else would it be but Daniel Bryan and Rowan. This was difficult to watch. I think everyone was like, oh, we're going to see this again. Daniel Bryan and Rowan just straight away come out, start smacking the crap out of both Big E and Xavier Woods. There's enough, the crowd are just like in utter, you can see the belief start to fade at this point in the crowd. Big E and Xavier finally get Daniel Bryan to start working Daniel a little bit. Daniel has to tag in Rowan. I'm like, oh man, there's like 5 minutes left. What are we going to do here? Big E manages to work Rowan, smashing him into the side of the ring, pushing the table, the announcer's table over him, because Daniel Bryan and Rowan were going to use that on Xavier Woods. They push it over. Big E gets back into the ring. Referee does the 10 count. Big E and Xavier Woods do it. They beat the Gauntlet. They win the match for their boy Kofi Kingston. Kofi comes running out. He's hugging. You can see there's just like Big E and Xavier are shattered. They're broken, and yet they just still have that energy to hug Kofi Kingston. Kofi's there in apps. Everyone is cheering. The crowd. It's like one of the biggest explosions from the crowd I've heard. It was just so good. I mean, everyone backstage who was watching, because Kofi was watching backstage, all those guys come out, some referees come out, even Byron Saxton goes, you know what, I've done for the night, I'm going to celebrate with the guys, and he even goes out and celebrates. This just shows you how big of a momentum push this is for Kofi Kingston. Kofi wasn't in the match. People were just cheering Kofi. They were cheering the New Day, and this was a fantastic Gauntlet match. I thought it was going to be a little bit too much after having a Gauntlet match last week. I'm going to go in again for another, but having it in a tag team match, having it Big E and Xavier, where it is the friendship storyline they're going for, I bloody loved it. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I think it was a great main event. I think it was a great story. Mr. McMahon was interviewed just before he left as well, and says, can a B+ player win the WWE title? That is the question. And I'm like, I hope to God he can. But yeah, like I said, 4 out of 5. Really, really enjoyed this match. And there you go, guys. That was SmackDown Live for this week. I think it was a really good SmackDown Live. I think the Asuka versus Charlotte match, no matter what you think of the final result with Charlotte taking the title, it was still better than a WrestleMania match. Big E and Xavier Woods are just absolute athletes, and I cannot wait to see what their story is. Are they going to go to WrestleMania supporting Daniel Bryan, or are they going to get a match as well? I hope they get a match and support Kofi. So, why did I say Daniel Bryan? Kofi. Support Kofi. But yeah, Miz and Shane's promo, fantastic. The only little bit which laid down a little bit for me was the Kurt Angle AJ Styles match. I think it was because Randy came in a little bit too early. If he had a little bit more time and allowed AJ and Kurt to have a bit of a match, that would have made it a little bit better. So for me, my final score for SmackDown Live for this week is a 3 out of 5. Stellar match, a stellar show again from SmackDown Live in my opinion. I can't wait to see what happens before WrestleMania. But what was your favourite part of SmackDown Live this week, guys? Leave it in the comments below. If you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. Because if you don't press that bell, you won't know when these videos come out, and then you'll be like, oh my god, I've just missed the Smack Talk Wrestling review. So just remember to press that. And if you want to follow us on the old Twitter, you can do it at Smack Talk YouTube. That's a U and then a tube. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.